What is up, everyone? I hope you're doing great today because it is a little late. It's actually Saturday, December 5th, 2020, and this is Raphael Garcia here for episode number 78 of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. I want to always start off with telling everyone thank you for supporting our content. As I've been saying week over week, the MMA Ratings Podcast Network has been growing and it's been growing pretty well. Our goal this year was to end this year with a 150 subscribers, which I didn't think we were going to do at one point. We were slowing down, but things have picked back up, and now we are actually at 245 with a couple of weeks left. So maybe we can get to 250. If you are listening to this content, please be sure to go over to our YouTube channel where you can subscribe there. You can check us out at MMA Ratings on that platform. And you can always hit us up at the flagship MMAratings.net and .com in both spaces. MMA Ratings Net on Instagram and Twitter, and across all podcast networks at Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, and Apple iTunes. I am _Garcia_sports on social media. You can check me out there. You can tell me what you think about my content, what you think about everything else I say, because trust me, I do have quite a bit to say on all things going on right now. But tonight, I'm going to be talking about professional wrestling. And just like everyone else this week, we will be talking about Sting's return, Kenny Omega winning the AEW title, AEW versus Impact. What does that mean? NXT WarGames, and previewing that, and also talking about some other WWE content as well. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I want to talk about WWE first, because I'll probably be talking more about AEW tonight. But WWE content, there's some good things on the show. There's some good things. If you're catching Roman Reigns over on SmackDown, you're probably seeing the best content they have to offer right now. He's killing it. And I love that they are doing a lot with him, but also doing less at the same time. As I've been saying and writing about for probably the last 2 months or so, less is more in these storylines. And doing less with they are doing less with Roman Reigns in a way that is working perfectly. He's the best thing on their shows right now across all three brands, hands down. And I'm excited about this feud with Kevin Owens. I wish it was much longer than it is, maybe 1 to 2 months, but they announced the match at TLC, which I think is 2 weeks from Sunday. So after NXT WarGames is this Sunday, I think the show is 2 weeks after that. And we all know Kevin Owens is going to lose. We all know that. But Kevin Owens is reminding us just how great he is. And it's not like any of the real wrestling fans forgot. That's not the case. But the way they book him week over week is just not, it hasn't been good. And he hasn't even been on the show in the past few weeks. And people were wondering what was going on. But Kevin Owens is the truth. And he's rising to the occasion. I was reading over on Fightful Select. Go subscribe to that. I'm a $5 tier subscriber. I believe that people are pleased with what they saw from him last week and delivering it when he was inserted into the main event picture. And he's delivering now. He delivered this week. And you shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't be surprised, right? This is Kevin Owens. This is the guy we know who you are. Like the late great coach Danny Green said, we are who they thought they were. Kevin Owens is that guy, and he's reminding us of that during this program. I am a fan of it, and we should all be a fan of what he's doing right now, because this is Roman Reigns is elevating everyone around him. He's elevated Jey Uso, and he's even kind of elevated Paul Heyman in a sense, because Paul doesn't have to do as much as he was doing with Brock Lesnar, and this situation is elevating Kevin Owens. I think he smashes Kevin Owens. I think maybe we get Daniel Bryan next, which is going to be just as good. But if you are watching anything in professional wrestling, I know AEW is killing WWE right now from a enjoyment standpoint. I get it. But if you are watching anything in professional wrestling, also watch these Roman Reigns moments, because he is delivering delivering like a Tom Brady touchdown pass. He's out there getting the job done, and this is good wrestling. This is some good wrestling. So be sure to take the time to watch that. Um, Another big moment was Bianca Belair this week and Bayley. They are kicking off an angle, but the issue I have with this is, why is Bayley losing? She was the SmackDown Women's Champion for a whole year, drops the belt to Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is now feuding with Carmella. I'm not. That's not even actually on my agenda to talk about this week. That's just how meh I am on that. But Bianca Belair and Bayley are heading into an angle together, but they have Bayley losing. She lost to Natalya this week tonight via sharpshooter, where she immediately tapped out. And you have to wonder, why does that make it any more appealing to see Belair, who's undefeated, defeat someone who's lost? I think Sean Ross Sapp talked about it today, that she's lost 9 weeks in a row, or 9 straight matches. Why are they doing that? Bayley is legit. She's one of the best wrestlers in the industry right now. Why present her in this fashion? And how does that help Bianca Belair? It doesn't. And this is the thing about WWE booking that always gets people concerned when they talk about giving someone a push. They talk about doing things differently. They try to elicit excitement around their content, but you see shit like this and you're just like, no one wants to see this. No one does. But it's what we get. So now we have to wonder, why should we care if Bianca defeats someone who hasn't won in almost 2 months? Why? But that's the story that they're going to try to tell us, and that's the story that we're going to be fed. So you have to wonder what that really is going to mean. I don't know if they're having a match at TLC. It hasn't been announced, but there's still plenty of time for that to happen. I hope it does occur. It better not fucking be on the pre-show, I'll tell you that much. But these two ladies, I mean, they're great. Bianca is going to, I hope she gets a legit push. I was joking around on social media tonight while SmackDown was on, saying that they're going to take the belt off of Sasha and put it on Carmella. Do not be surprised if that happens. But I see Bianca Belair being a champion in the future. She should win the Royal Rumble and face off against Sasha Banks. I doubt they'll do that. They'll probably let Charlotte win the Royal Rumble again, like she did last year. However, this needs to be Bianca's time, and I hope that this angle gets corrected and they avert course that they're doing, and they make this something special. I want to hop back real quick and talk about Roman Reigns again, because something I was tweeting tonight during the show was, there's a need for them to not fuck this up. And in relation to the Bianca Belair Bayley storyline, they're fucking it up by having Bayley lose all these matches. With Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, it's almost like you want to scream, don't touch it. It's fine the way it is. Do not mess this up. They made a slight misstep today by including Otis in the tag team match, but thankfully again, the way they got him out of there really delivered. Because I was worried, and you can go and you can check my timeline. The minute Otis walks his ass into that storyline, I was like, fuck, they're gonna fuck this up. But hopefully they don't. If this means that Jey Uso and Otis have a match at TLC and Jey Uso wins, oh, I'm okay with that. But I don't want to, like, I don't want Otis on my TV unless he's getting his ass beat like he did tonight. So, yeah, these were probably the two biggest storylines coming out of tonight's show. Another thing that happened that I'm like, I am making a cringe face just because I'm being a little bit of a jerk, but the Forgotten Sons came back, and it's just, what is it, Blake and Cutter. Just those two. Riker is still not on the show, and I'm actually going to be writing about him tonight in a few. But yes, the Forgotten Sons are back, and they came back as Baron Corbin's henchmen, but they looked so foolish. They had on hoodies with their hoods up, and they were wearing blazers over them. And I legit think that Michael Cole and Corey Graves had no idea who the hell they were for a hot second. I legit think that they didn't, because they didn't say who they were until they came back from commercial break. So you can basically say the Forgotten Sons were forgotten. Someone insert in the boom. But let's see. I mean, I am not too keen on seeing these guys again, but Jackson Riker was the problem. They haven't brought him back on television. I hope they don't bring him back on television. He needs to be featured endeavored. But I am in, I'm okay with this for now. I'm okay with this for now. Let's see what they do with this. I don't think they're going to do much. You know, Corbin, it's sad the way he is slotted. I was kind of talking about Dolph Ziggler as well, tweeting about him earlier today that he is someone who he should be a legend. He should be considered a legend when his time is done because he had that type of potential, that type of buzz around him, and they shit the bed with it. They were like, no, we're not doing that. Baron Corbin, I'm not saying he was on that same status, but he could have been pretty decent. He could have been decent. He could have been much better than he is now. He could have definitely been a champion. And he could go in the ring. If you watch his matches when they let him go, he can go. And it's sad that they have kind of pigeonholed him into this chicken shit position. And that's just where he's going to be for an extended period of time. Does it work? I mean, he has a job. He has TV time, but it's just not entertaining. He's definitely bathroom break / let me play with my phone time on WWE content, and that's going to continue with or without the Forgotten Sons. So let's keep it moving, and let's do my preview of the pay-per-view that we have this week with NXT WarGames. I think this is number 2, and I have mixed feelings about this card heading in. I have mixed feelings because I think the matches are going to deliver, but I don't care about what's next in any of them. And we're going to talk about that because we have what should be, well, it's going to be hard to kind of determine which War Games match is the main event. I feel like they're going to go the route again where one opens and one closes. But I personally do believe the women are going to steal the show. The Shotzi Blackheart, Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, and Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Toni Storm. That right there should let you know that they're gonna fuck some shit up. But I think that they're going to put on a show. I believe Kai and probably Io are going to jump off the top of the cage and do some ridiculous. Well, Ember Moon might be good for that shit too. Well, actually, let me pause. We know Shotzi Blackheart is going to take a ridiculous ass bump in this match. So my money right now on someone jumping off the top of the cage is Blackheart 1, Io 2, Kai 3, and Ember 4. I'm saying those are the 4 people in this match that may take a jump off the top of the cage. I'm interested in seeing how this plays out because I personally am surprised that they have not moved Rhea up, especially after she lost that match to Io. And there's a space for her. I wrote about this. Move her up to Raw. Have her and Asuka face off. She defeats Asuka for the belt. Charlotte Flair comes back, and then we have that whole conversation. They do that situation right this time with Rhea going over. That's the only way that they fix that. The only way they fix the NXT situation from WrestleMania this year. Let's see if that's what happens. I don't know, but Asuka needs challengers, and Rhea isn't really needed on NXT right now. She's the best thing on NXT. She could be used on the main roster because the Raw Women's division blows. And I hate to use the term blow. We're talking about the women, but the Raw Women's division is not good. I think she could infuse some life into that. I don't like the fact that Io Shirai is also in this match either. I think that she should be doing something else right now. In a feud, they could have done something faster with the Xia Li storyline that they're doing, and maybe have her had her as a one-off top contender, or I don't know who else the hell they have. I think well they should have had the belt on Candice already, but I just don't like the idea that Io Shirai is in this match. It takes away another opportunity for another good match to be on this card if she was facing off against someone else. I think that LeRae's team is going to win this. I think LeRae is going to get a big win. She's going to get a big pin here. And I do think she's going to challenge for the belt again. I believe it's time that she's given that shine. She can't be known as a good hand anymore. She's probably the best women's performer on the roster right now. I'm just gonna on the NXT roster right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. She's a believable baby face if she's put in that position, and she's doing damn well in this heel gimmick as well too. So I'm not too mad at her. So let's see how this plays out. But I do think she wins the match for her team. Then we have the Undisputed Era versus, I guess they're being called the Kings. You have Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, and Oney Lorcan. I don't really care about this match that much. I am not a Pat McAfee guy. I don't anything that came from Barstool Sports. I'm like, I want nothing to do with that. I'm not much of a Pat McAfee guy. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, man, Pete Dunne is my dude. So I will watch anytime he's in the ring. He's on that list of guys I will turn the TV for to watch. Undisputed Era, I think they're doing a good job in this role. Kyle O'Reilly, I think he's going to steal the show as usual in this match at least. I don't know who's going to win here either. I think Undisputed Era wins. I don't think that they're going to end the feud there. They should, but I think Undisputed Era wins. But they keep it rolling. At some point in time, they're going to split that group. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do it. I don't believe they're ever going to move them up to the main roster either. But we have to kind of keep a close eye on that. But I'm picking UE to win that match. Then we have actually let me I'm gonna switch to order. I'm gonna talk about these matches. Let me talk about Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes, and there's a reason why I want to talk about this match first. This feud needs to end, and I think it ends on Sunday with Cameron Grimes getting a win. Cameron Grimes has been one of the best parts of NXT for the last 3 months since that Halloween Havoc, maybe even before that. He's won me over, and he's the only person I can believe pulls off that chicken shit, I'm scared of everything type of heel, but I will still beat your ass. And I like it. The reason why Dexter Lumis to me, he is a good character. He's doing very well with his character work. I'm not a big fan of his matches, but I don't think taking a loss hurts him. He's taken a few losses now in his NXT run, and I don't think taking a loss hurts him. So I do believe that Grimes wins this match and ends this feud. And what happens is he is the guy who takes the title off of Leon Ruff, because I want Leon Ruff to come in to this triple threat match and be like, nah, y'all not gonna bully me, y'all not gonna push me around, and I expect him to get off some insane offense on Sunday and look good. I do think he's gonna get like some roll up pinfall or something like that to keep the belt. But I do believe he walks out of NXT Takeover War Games as the North American champion still, but he eventually loses that belt to Cameron Grimes. So Cameron Grimes needs a run. Dude is legit, and he is over. He's delivering, and I want to see a belt around his waist. Not the NXT championship, though. That belt looks good around Finn Balor's waist. There's Kushida needs to be the one in that picture, but that's another conversation for another day. Then we have Tommaso Ciampa versus Timothy Thatcher. We know how this match is going to go. These two dudes are going to beat the shit out of each other, and I'm here for it. Like, let them get in there and let them fight. I think Thatcher's going to win this one. Ciampa doesn't get hurt by too many losses. I think Thatcher's going to win this one. That's just my opinion. I think he should win this one because he can't keep losing matches how he's been doing as of late. But I think NXT WarGames is going to be a good show. Sorry about that. It's going to be a good show, but it doesn't wow me as much as some of the previous ones. I'm not standing on the top of the table cheering these matches on or anything like that. I'm interested in them. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. But this show, I am not as excited for NXT takeovers as I once was, and that is indicative of the content they are putting out each and every week. It's not as good as it once was. NXT from a week-to-week basis has not been as good as other shows in the past. It has not been as good as it was last year or the year before that. Why? Is it because the creative is looking more and more like the Monday and Friday shows? That's a big part of it. But it's clear as day these shows aren't as good, and it's starting to bleed over to these takeovers because they're getting less and less exciting. And this is just another one of them, in my opinion. It'll be a good show. It'll deliver, but it's just not enough to get us all excited. What has been getting us excited, though, and doing a very fantastic job of it, is AEW. They had their show. They dubbed it Winter is Coming this past Wednesday, and it delivered. And it delivered in a way that professional wrestling should deliver when it comes to moments. This is something else that I wrote about on Daily DDT this week. You can go check that out. But this show delivered in a way that is amazing. And they had their moment with Sting, and everyone knows what happened. Team Taz was beating up Cody, Dustin, and Darby. Sting comes out, doesn't say anything, doesn't really do anything, and that is exactly how that should have been done. He came in, helped the faces up, and left. Wrestling Twitter marked the hell out, and that is what I am here for. They marked the hell out, and that is exactly how that should go. Now, the question I have is what's next? Sting is 61 years old. 6'1". The last time we saw him was in 2015 when his head was basically hanging around. Like he was a pencil neck geek, as they always say. Like his head looked like he was about to fall off his neck for a minute. And it did not look good. It did not look good. So his retirement then was like, yeah, dude, you need to go ahead and retire. WWE shit the bed on missing the opportunity with the match between him and The Undertaker, especially in this cinematic era that they're doing now. They shit the bed with that. But AEW does not need to make the mistake of him having any matches, any non-cinematic matches. If they want to do a cinematic match with him, go right on ahead. Go right on ahead. People will be excited for it, and they can do that well. Would I see a cinematic match between him and Darby? I would be interested in that. I would be interested in that, just to see what that would look like. But I don't need to see too much of him right now. They have a bio for him on their website where he has a win-loss record. No, I don't need him in any matches. He can't have matches on Dynamite. If you thought Matt Hardy looked bad, Sting will probably look much worse. So he doesn't need to have these matches on Dynamite. He just needs to be a character. He'll be less of a character than even like an Arn Anderson or a Tully Blanchard or a Jake Roberts. Don't need to hear him talk too often. Let's go back to the full Crow. Let's go back to the full. This guy's just here with this baseball bat, swing the baseball bat a couple times, not even show up sometimes. Let's do this right. I still wonder sometimes if we give AEW a pass for hanging on too much nostalgia. I still have that, and they haven't proven me wrong yet that they do value their style. They respect it in a different way that makes it work. But they teeter sometimes. They teeter a lot, and I am wondering if might be a little bit too much sometimes. This has been good so far though, so I'm not even gonna shit on this at all. So that brings me to the next big moment from Wednesday when their main event. Cody, what the fuck am I talking about? Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley had a one-on-one match for the AEW Championship. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it, and I don't think people, if they listen to this show, I mean, we get a good number of views. I don't get a whole lot of shit back. This match wasn't that great. The match was underwhelming to me. I wasn't hoping for something as violent as the unsanctioned match from a while back, but this match didn't deliver from a match standpoint. It didn't. The ending sucked to me. And what I mean by it is, what was it? Moxley getting hit with the microphone and getting pinned. Or Moxley got hit with the microphone, he got busted open, but the Don Callis and interference. Now, what happened after that, though, is, man, is going to change. I think it's going to have a major impact on wrestling for the next at least 6 months. At least. Kenny Omega and Don Callis run off with the AEW title, and they say that they're going to show up on Impact on Tuesday. Kenny Omega is now being promoted as being on Impact on Tuesday. This is going to be a major moment on Tuesday. Now, the unfortunate part about that is people have to figure out how the fuck to watch Impact. You can hopefully people hop over on the Twitch, watch it there. Hopefully some people have Access TV. I don't have Access TV. I watch it on Twitch when I do watch it, which is super rare. You can watch it there. I am interested in seeing where this goes because while I'm not the biggest fan of Impact Wrestling, they do have some assets that I think would be interesting to see. That women's division, AEW's women's division is getting bolstered because of other organizations' women's division, if that makes sense. NWA, and now they have access to Impact. If you tell me somehow we end up in a situation where Serena Deeb, Hikaru Shida, and Deonna Purrazzo are in the ring together, imagine me, I just threw my wallet at the wall. Take my money. Chris Bay, where does Chris Bay fit into all of this? Where does Chris Bay fit into all of this? Moose, all those other guys, I'm interested in seeing. There's so much opportunity because of this, because of the willingness to work together, which is important in professional wrestling. WWE is a giant in the room. We all get that. They have the money, they have the long-standing contracts, they have that long-standing exposure. I get it. But AEW is doing exactly what they need to be doing to drive attention and to drive interest in their product. It's working. Brandon Thurston was showing some information about trends in the viewers, the ages of viewers. Goodness, I can't talk. While WWE is steadily trending down in the 18 to 39-year-old demographic, AEW is starting to trend up in that space. They're starting to trend up in all demographics now. So WWE has some they need to have a come to Jesus moment. I need to go back and listen to the rest of the Triple H media call from this week, but they talked about it and they touched upon it briefly about WWE being willing to work with others. And he was like, yeah, there's open door policy. That's bullshit. We know there's no way in hell there will ever be a situation where Ring of Honor and WWE work together and it's actually a legit, like, we're going to work together and it makes sense and it be a good product. We just, like, you cannot trust WWE right now, not the creative, because Vince McMahon is still there. You mean to tell me that you could see Ring of Honor stars coming into WWE right now and having good matches, having adequate time, being booked well? TNA? No, you can't. In New Japan, could you imagine them trying to book Kota Ibushi? He was smart to leave. Or they might book Will Ospreay, right, because he's a white male. But could you imagine them trying to book a Kazuki Sakuraba? No, they're not going to do that. A Suzuki? They're not going to do that. It's not going to work right. AEW, I think we can have trust and faith that this partnership with Impact is going to be something we're all going to be talking about and paying close attention to. I may make it a point to watch Impact on Tuesday. I think I'm going to be interested in seeing who does post-show podcasts as well, because the people that do, obviously, the people that follow sport closely, talking more about Fightful and all those guys, their shows on Monday, what day was that? Wednesday, had big bumps, especially when talking about AEW. Let's see if someone drops an Impact show on Tuesday. Let's see. I think it will be interesting to see if that happens, because that show is going to have a lot of eyeballs on it, and I think it is the right step to make. It's going to have a lot of eyeballs on it, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it because I want to see what's next. We all know, like, you can think back to the WWE, WCW invasion, quote unquote, from years ago. It wasn't done. Like, it didn't end right. They had all the big moments, but the payoff wasn't there. The payoff was still all about WWE at the end. And you knew WWE was going to win, but it didn't deliver, right? And then the merger and all the guys being brought in didn't work out right. Something else about this that I think is important, and I wrote about this as well too. That AEW video game that's coming out that is being directed by the same guy who did WCW versus NWO back in the day, I think is going to have multiple promotions in it. I think it's going to have New Japan. I think it's going to have Impact. It's going to have AEW and someone else as well. If you go back to that game on the N64, they had wrestlers there who were basically knockoffs of the originals. For example, Hayabusa had a character, but Hayabusa's character in the game was named Hannibal. He was my favorite character. I used to fuck people up with Hannibal. But in the video game, they couldn't use Hayabusa's name, so they used Hannibal in this one. I think we can see a situation where other promotions are being used in this AEW game. And that is what I am looking forward to the most. I think that is going to be, I'm looking forward to that video game. I am all about video games. I'm all about pro wrestling. Fire Pro Wrestling was one of my favorite games when it came out that year. It did. WCW vs. NWO is one of my favorite games of all time. Especially, if they somehow get Def Jam in it too as well. Oh man, I just marked myself out. Whew, boy, I just popped for that. But this has an opportunity to be something big. This partnership is going to really change and impact not change professional wrestling, but it's going to impact our interest and our viewership. I really do. I think WWE is going to be is in air quotes trouble, and not necessarily trouble from a financial standpoint. We talk about their financial calls and they're making money hand over fist. But from an interest and content standpoint, they suck. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The content is not good outside of Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley, a few other bits and pieces in there. The content is not good anymore, and they need to make some changes. I don't think they're going to make the changes with the same people that they have at the top. So let's see what happens with that. But right now, AEW is running circles around them because they're doing shit like this, and they're going to continue to do shit like this, right? Like I wrote about, these big moments have big payoffs at the end. This is going to have a big payoff. We just got to see where that's going to go. But that's our show for tonight. As always, as I said at the start, I'm going to say it again now. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our podcast and supporting us. The year 2020 has been a hard year for everybody, coming to a close. Be safe and, enjoy your holidays. Don't do anything foolish. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving as well. As always, you can find our content first and foremost at the flagship MMAratings.net and also .com. You can check us out on both of those platforms. Be sure to hit us up there. You can catch us on all podcast platforms, starting with Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple iTunes, and Breaker at MMA Ratings in each space. You can also check us out on social media, MMA Ratings.net on Instagram and Twitter. I myself, you can catch me on both spaces at R Garcia underscore sports. You can find my content that I write over at MMA Ratings, Fansided MMA, and Daily DDT. That's where I do most of my damage there. Check us out. Check me out in all those spaces. Every Tuesday, Schwan and I do our MMA Ratings podcast. We are up to episode 189. It's coming up this week, so we're creeping up on 200, while this show creeps up on 100. But thank you, everyone who has been here to support us. Thank you for all of your time. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a great weekend, everyone. Stay safe. Black Lives Matter, and wear your mask.